Good morning, kids of CLC. We hope that you had a good week. I heard that some of you had your power off, including me. So hopefully your power is back on and you're able to watch this video. We're going to continue our series on superheroes of the Bible. We've got a really good one this week. It happens to be Teacher Karen's favorite superhero of the Bible. You can do your next page in your work booklet that we sent you at home. And remember, you have 1 week left to send me your verse. We've had a few submissions already, so we're going to watch them next.
Micah 6:8. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Micah 6:8.
Micah 6:8. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God.
He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. Micah 6:8.
I'm gonna say Micah 6:8. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. What does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Micah 6:8.
Your January memory verse. Let's sing.
He's the one who makes the sun shine. He's the one who puts the moon in the sky. He's the one who hung the stars one by one. He's the one who makes the birds sing. He's the one who makes your dreams so high. He's the one who makes me smile. Day by day, Jesus.
of the Bible. Superhero Joseph.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be reading Joseph's colorful robe, Genesis 3-7. Joseph was one of Jacob's 12 sons. Jacob loved him more than all of his other sons. Jacob made Joseph a colorful robe. His brothers were jealous. They wanted nice robes too, and they wanted to be loved just as much as Joseph was loved. Joseph had a dream. He told his family, "We are bundling grain from the field. Your bundles of grain bow down to mine." Then Joseph had another dream. He said, "This time the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." His father asked, Does this mean our family will bow down to you someday?" The brothers were even more angry, so they threw Joseph down a dry well. Along came some traders. The brothers sold Joseph, and the traders took him as a slave. They lied to their father and said that Joseph has been killed by a wild animal, but God was with him the whole time. And also, I'm going to be reading Joseph Saves His Family, Genesis 42-46. For the first 7 years, Joseph was in charge of gathering extra food for the people of Egypt. That way, when hardly any crops grew, there'd still be plenty to eat. The 7 bad years began, and all the people in other countries had no food at all. Even Joseph's family did not have enough to eat, so Joseph's father sent his sons to Egypt to buy some food. When the brothers arrived in Egypt, they went to Joseph and bowed down to him. They did not know that it was their brother, but Joseph knew. Joseph sold them some food, then the brothers left to go home. Some time later, they returned to buy some more food, but as Joseph had dreamed, they bowed down to him again. Finally, Joseph told them, "I am your brother." His brothers were afraid. But Joseph told them to not be afraid. God meant it for good. "He had a special plan for me," he said. They all hugged. Joseph's brother rushed home, and they told their father what happened. Jacob was so happy to hear that Joseph was still alive. The whole family moved to Egypt. Thank you.
So our superhero this week is Joseph. So what kind of superpowers did Joseph have? Well, if you hear the story of Joseph, you'll find out that there were some horrible things that happened to him throughout his life. When Austin was reading, you heard about how his brothers, who were so jealous of him and hated him, threw him in a pit, then sold him to some travelers that were coming through, and Joseph ended up in Egypt. He was away from his family, anybody that he knew. He then became a slave, and while he was a slave, somebody told a lie about him, and he got thrown into prison. So even though the Bible tells us that every single time Joseph was in a certain situation, God was with him, some horrible things happened to him. But Joseph's superpower was forgiveness. Even though these horrible things happened to him, Joseph continued to trust in God, and he forgave. When his brothers showed up and he recognized them and they didn't recognize him, I'm sure all those feelings came back of all those horrible things that had happened to him. But he, in the long run, forgave them because he saw the big picture, and he told them, "Look, you meant that for bad to me, but God meant it for good," and he forgave. Forgiving is a superpower. So Joseph, no matter how many bad things happened to him, he always knew that God was with him. And when his brothers came in and he recognized them, and I'm sure he thought of all the horrible feelings that came and having to be away from his family, he forgave them. And because he knew that God had a plan, he told his brothers, "Look, you meant that for bad, but God meant it for good." And so Joseph's superpower was to forgive. And you know, he was good at it. He had lots of reasons to forgive. We need to practice that, and God can help us to forgive even when we don't want to forgive. So I encourage you, Joseph's story is a great story, and we've just talked a little bit about everything that happened to him. I hope that your mom and dad will sit down with you and read the story of Joseph and his superpowers of forgiveness.
Superhero magic trick.
Today we are going to be doing a magic trick with hot water in a pitcher and a plate lined up of Skittles.
Yep. And I don't know if you've done this before, but it's really cool. So Austin's going to start pouring the water so that you can see what happens. And this reminds me of our story this week of Joseph's coat with many colors. That's pretty cool, huh?
See you next week.